Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to Inside the Lines. A lot of basketball to get through today, some NHL. We got to hit the strict 20-minute timeline so I can run down to the studio to talk about some NFL picks if anyone wants to join on HQ after that. But before that, let's make some money tonight. We are bringing in no other than our hockey expert, John. John, I respect that we just keep going back to the warehouse. We keep going back. We're not going to stop. We still have 3 weeks until baseball. So we're going to hit hockey. Let's hear it.
Yeah, we're using the word expert very lightly here, Mackenzie, because I can't even remember the last time that I've hit an NHL pick. So it's not very fun right now. So tail with caution, but we're going to try a money line today, and we're going to keep it at plus money because if we're going to lose as little as possible. We're going to go with the Red Wings on the money line. It's plus 122 against the Dallas Stars on FanDuel. There's plenty of model value, and the model has actually been red hot lately, especially on money lines. They like the Red Wings. The Red Wings have won 7 of their last 9 games, so we're going to keep it short and simple today, and hopefully we can finally get a win and break the streak.
So the Sportsline Model itself is putting out some pretty good projections. We just seem to be hitting on the wrong ones consistently.
Yeah, we're just not playing the right ones right now, which is a problem, but we'll get it fixed.
Statistically impressive, that I will say. That I will give to you. All right, this is the one. I feel it. Tuesday night hockey. Nice little plus money line. Whoa. I think this is the one. All right, thank you, John. Any more NHL questions, please ask him in the chat. We're going to head into some college basketball quick. I'll have a recap screen at the end, but I'm going to bring in Jake. A lot on the slate tonight. Jake, any favorite games that stand out to you?
There's some good games in the Big East today that I'm excited to watch. Yesterday was a little bit boring. There was that Kansas game, but today's much better. The Tuesdays and Wednesdays are usually the best days in college basketball, outside of the weekends, obviously.
Right. Well, let's start with one of the earlier games here. We're going to Georgetown. Georgetown's hosting Butler as 3-point dogs.
Yeah, I'm on Masood under. I'm surprised his line's at 14.5. The under is 8-4 this season. When it's at 4, if you look at the 14.5 line, and 2 of his last 3 games, he played 19 minutes and 21 minutes. So his minutes are going down. I mean, Masood is very streaky. You saw that in the Kansas State run last year. I just like the under here. He's been bad streaky lately.
Mm-hmm. And we hit a nice under player prop last night too. Never sweat there.
It was very sweaty, especially after he started off with 6 points in the first 5 minutes. But DeJuan Harris, never a doubt, under 8.5 points.
Yep, the college basketball prop king. This is a big prize picks moment the next few minutes, guys. So this is big for the Taco Tuesday that Jake had mentioned earlier. All right, let's go over to FSU. They are traveling to Syracuse today as 3-point dogs.
Yeah, Jameer Watkins, he is much better on the road than he is at home. He averages 24.7 points, rebounds, and assists on the road compared to just 22 at home. And the over is 5-2 on the road this season. We have him projected for right around 20. So not a ton of model value, but we also have him just projected for like 25 minutes, and he's averaging about 30 minutes per game. So if he gets to 30 minutes, he should easily hit this. So I like this.
Okay, we're looking for minutes here. Let's go over to the SEC. Kentucky headed to South Carolina, I believe. How has Kentucky been this year? I'm going to be honest. I haven't followed that much.
They've been good, and they just got a 7'2" unicorn back and who's eligible to play. Is Zvonimir Ivicic, who scored 13 points and had 2 block shots, 3 assists. He was crazy. He was hitting everything, and so that's kind of fun. That unfortunately, as a Gator fan and for you as a Georgia fan, it's not like good to see them doing well. But this team's fun to watch, and I think they're 6.
Oh no, we lost him. We'll give him a second to recover. Maybe I'll kick him out. Oh, there he is.
I don't know what happened, but I guess Kentucky fans heard me bad-mouthing, saying I don't want them to do well, but they are a good team.
Valid. All right, let's move quick through these. We got 2 more props and another money line parlay. We'll head to West Virginia. West Virginia going to UCF. I saw someone with the UCF prop as well in the chat. Let's start with yours.
So Jalen Sellers, I don't mind Jalen Sellers' play. His line was at 14.5 in some places, so maybe you could line shop there. But I like Slazinski over 15.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's been very inconsistent, but if you look at with his points, but if you look at his points, rebounds, and assists, over 15.5 is 15 this season. It's hitting 3 straight.
That is solid numbers right there. 15-3 to the over. I like that. All right, let's go down to Georgia Tech here.
And Quincy Reeves, former Florida Gator, he transferred last year. He's very inconsistent, especially shooting the ball. He's a shooter, but I feel like when he has big games, like he had 15 points a couple games ago, but he had 0 points or 0 rebounds and 0 assists when he had 15 points. So his under is hitting 4 straight. So I think we have him projected for around 13 points, rebounds, and assists. And when a streaky shooter is not hitting, it's when you want to fade them.
Mm-hmm. This is looking like a nice Taco Tuesday cook-up in Prize Picks right now. Let's hit one moneyline parlay, going back to the roots of the early season. Kentucky, who we know is playing South Carolina, and then VCU playing Loyola Chicago.
Yeah, I keep going in and out. I don't know why our work Wi-Fi doesn't like me today, but I think Kentucky's a much better team here. South Carolina, they're projected as a 9 seed, I think, in Jerry Palm's latest bracket, but we don't like them. I think we'd have them as like a 12 seed. And Kentucky, like I said, they got a stud freshman eligible to play. I just think they're the better team. They're favored by 5, but we have them winning by 8, so there's good money line value. And then VCU, they're favored by around 5 as well. They're playing at home. We have them winning by 12. I think they're starting to get things going. Zeb Jackson isn't playing, but Joe Bamasile, he's been playing, and he's been good when he plays.
Okay. Going back to that Georgia Tech game here, someone asking if we like them to cover tonight. It looks like the model doesn't have them covering, but it's not strong value. What's your personal opinion?
Yeah, I don't mind playing them to cover. They're a tricky team because they're very young, like Bayang Dongo, who I like today again, who we played last week. He's been really good. They're very young. They had a crazy comeback against Clemson. I don't mind them to cover, honestly.
All right. Probably good value there. All right. I see some more college basketball questions. I'll let Jake start answering those. I'll bring in Steven. We'll start talking some NBA. We're going to try something not too different, but just want to start deep diving when there's such a small slate of games. We really have the chance to kind of go through all of them, look at what the model likes, but really just talk it out with you guys, see what everyone likes, see if we want to fade or follow even our own model projection here. So let's start with the Nuggets headed to Indiana. We have this as a 1-point game. Why would that be?
Assuming Tyrese Halliburton plays for Indiana. Denver's just 8-15 on the road, ATS, with a +1 point differential. And Indiana's 12-8 at home, ATS, with a +7 point differential. Biggest factor is a 3-point shooting, where Indiana allows 36% from 3 at home, which is 3 percentage points better than in the road games. And Denver shoots 36%, which is 3% worse on the road. So that's the big factor in the model.
Okay. And so Jokic, we have some value on is over PRA. What is that line sitting at?
It's 53.5. So this is banking on this being a close game, which the line indicates it should be. Indiana, even without Halliburton, this recent stretch, he played 1 game. They've been cratered. They were 4-3 straight up. So hopefully they can keep it close even if he's ruled out. The model has 53.5 for Jokic. I'm hoping that there's a motivation after Embiid's 70-point game to try to kind of keep pace in that whole MVP conversation. And the over is 9-4 in Jokic's games when Denver's a 3.5 to 5.5 point favorite.
See, I think I disagree. I don't think Jokic could care less about the MVP race, honestly. Like, we know how this guy is. I feel like it's not. But I do, in general, like them to play well in this game. But is the MVP motivation there like it will be for SGA? I don't know about that. What do you think?
I agree. He doesn't seem to care, right? He doesn't care about any of that celebration. But,
right.
It's a nice line. It's all I could come up with 8 a.m. today, so sorry.
Scott's taking the Pacers money line. Love that for you. Love the big plays like that. All right, saw some questions about this game in the chat. We have 2 players. We also have model value on the Knicks headed to the Nets. Jalen Brunson. Someone was asking about his over PRA earlier today. We actually like the under. Why is that?
Well, I mean, this is a tricky one for me because it's obviously New York City, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of Knicks fans there. I don't think the Brooklyn Nets fans have taken over that kind of crowd. At the same time, it is technically a Brooklyn home game. Their defense allows 5 fewer points at home. allows 4% lower three-point shooting, and out-rebounds opponents by +5 at home. They're -2 on the road. So because of those factors, we have Brunson. So here's a case where Brunson's been on a tear, right? He has 52 and 57 points, rebounds, and assists last 2 games. But this season so far, he's never had 3 straight games over 41.5. So I'm one of those, this is my roulette logic, where 2 reds, the next one's most likely black. I know that's not the case. But in this case, it is, because we're Model's projecting an average game for him, which is 36.5. And that's kind of what he usually averages overall. He only had 31 in his December 20th game against Brooklyn at Brooklyn. So this is just, that's where I'm playing this based on the 3-point percentage differential for Brooklyn at home.
Yeah, I like this too. I don't know how you can continue to shoot and put up the points and the stats he's been putting up. There's got to be a downfall at some point here. What do you think, Jake?
I mean, I know a lot of the public is on that play, but so it's probably the best time to get on the under, because they probably should be set at 38.5, but it got bumped up to 41.5 because the public loves this. But I like Randall under 40.5 points, rebounds, and assists. In his last 6 games against Brooklyn, he's gotten under this number, and I think 3 of those were on the road, or 4 of those games were on the road at Brooklyn. So he's struggled a bit playing in Brooklyn lately. With Model has him just for around 36, 37 points, rebounds, and assists. If you could shop around and maybe get like a alt line, Jalen Brunson under 40 or Julius Randle under 40 and get both at plus money, maybe I think one of those hits. So maybe you could do something like that.
Yeah, I like where your head's at. I see a lot of questions about this Pelicans game here. We got people asking about Ingram, which we already have. We had some people on Trey Murphy. Nick S. said he's sitting at 11.5 points. That sounds like my kind of play. But let's start with Colin Sexton here. We were talking about earlier. He's kind of always on the trading block, always being threatened to be traded. We see maybe a big night for him because of that.
Well, yeah. So he's been scoring a bunch recently, 27 plus in 4 straight games. And as a result, his typical line was usually around 17.5, which is what he was averaging, but it's been bumped up to 21.5, probably even higher, the points line. So his line for rebounds and assists, which are usually tied more to the number of minutes he plays, it has not been adjusted up significantly versus his overall season average. So that's where the model's seeing value, because we expect him to be over 30 minutes. We have 8.5 rebounds and assists, which is, you can get plus money at over 7.5. So, and I looked at it. So the over is 12-4. He averages 8.6 rebounds and assists when he plays 27 plus minutes. And when he plays a sweet spot, is actually 27 to 30 minutes. The over is 8-1. So that's what we're looking for here.
Okay. Sneaky play here. I like that. Just hitting the rebounds and assists. And then Jake also likes him to make 2 3-pointers here.
Yeah, so he's much worse shooting the ball on the road, which scares me a bit, but he's been shooting the ball well in his last couple of games where he's played against New Orleans. I think he's hit at least 2 in 7 of his last 9 games. So he's getting a ton of volume shooting the ball, especially from deep. So I like this play.
I feel like we're due for one of these 3-point props to hit. I think we always are picking guys who have massive volume. They're just going like 1 for 7. So
had over 6s. I've been, what was the Bradley Beal was over 6, and your guy, Austin Reeves was over 6. I mean, what are the odds? I know I should be able to calculate that, but what are the odds of 2 dudes going over 12 and not hitting, at least one of them getting over 1.5?
Yeah, insane. Well, let's go over to Brandon Ingram, because I've seen some questions about him in the chat. Looks like Brandon here in the chat said you can get him at 25.5 at -104, but looks like you can get 24.5 for -120 at ESPN.
Yeah, so I just looked at it on OddsJam. You get 24.5 at -120 on FanDuel right now, which I'd much rather -120 at 24.5 than -104 at 25.5. So if you could get that, Brandon, at FanDuel, I'd hop on that. But he's been very good in his career against Utah. He's streaky. And the last time I was on this number, I think it was 21.5 points and rebounds, and he had 38. So he was good to me. So he's on the good list right now. So I'm hopefully riding him again to another win.
Stay on your toes, Jake. You never know when they turn against you.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on here. We'll head to the Portland Trail Blazers going to OKC. OKC laying 13.5 points at home, which we do like them to cover here, assuming SGA is a big part of this.
Yeah. Well, currently the S list is filled with hockey players that you have a tough time pronouncing their names. So who don't shoot enough shots on goal. But
Yes.
so there's hopefully no more NBA players on there. So in this game, ton of model value on OKC, even at this large number, because the road home splits are pretty staggering. Portland minus 13 point differential on the road, 10 and 13 against the spread. OKC 16 and 5 at home against the spread with a plus 11 point differential. The statistical number to pay attention to is 2-point shooting. DeAndre Ayton is not a great rim protector, despite his size. So they allow nearly 60% 2-point shooting to opponents, and OKC shoots around 60% on twos at home versus 55 on the road. Chet Holmgren, for example, goes from 51% on the road to 57% at home. And SGA is obviously a great paint scorer, from the guard position. So that's why we like OKC to cover, even the big number. And then Shea's been pretty, not mediocre. He's always awesome, but the over this number is only 1-7 his last 8. So I'm going to go on he's due for a monster game. Again, here's where I think that the Embiid big night, SGA trying to keep up with Embiid, put up a ton of points, should have very little resistance. Malcolm Brogdon is a good defensive player, but he's getting older. He helped out some injuries. The one game he played against Brogdon as fully formed SGA, the 30-point score, he put up 36, 8, and 5. So I like this spot for him.
Mm-hmm. I saw Big Cheesy in the chat. Dare we go back to Dort over 11.5 points? I can't even remember where we are with him right now.
I know he's been good. I think he's hit this number in like 6 straight games.
We do. We got him at 12 points, so that's good.
12 points. His line was usually 9.5, 10.5, but since he's hit it so often that it's gone to 11.5. So I don't really love it at 11.5.
Yeah.
I'm hoping maybe he struggles this game and we can get the over next game.
It'll be interesting to keep that eye. 9.5 is the key for him to go for.
Yeah. Right. We stay off at 11.5. Here we go. Last game here on the board, Battle of LA. Lakers headed to the Clippers. Clippers laying 8.5 at home. Terrence Mann over 4.5 rebounds and assists.
Yeah, so here's another slight lean for the Clippers because the key metrics have the Lakers are minus 2% 3-point differential. Clippers are plus 4%. I'm using overall numbers since this is sort of a neutral court game. But the Clippers are projected for a plus 5% edge in 3-point shooting as a result. Clippers are 7th in turnover differential, 7th in a good way. Lakers are 25th. So that's another edge for the Clippers. So better shooting, fewer turnovers is why we like the model likes Clippers at minus 8.5. Terrence Mann, model has at 5.2 rebounds and assists, so that's good value at plus money. He averages more at home, 5.1 at home, 12 and 7 at home. He had 0 rebounds. They played this a little over 2 weeks ago versus LA, and he had 0 rebounds. But since then, he's been rebounding more, been averaging 3 a game. The over is 8-2, and the Clippers are 6.5 to 10-point favorites. So this is like that sweet spot of games where they're not destroying teams necessarily that allows him to get to that man actually sits. And at the same time, they're still better than the other teams, so they don't have to play Kawhi and PG-13 the whole game. So that's I kind of like that.
I kind of see Austin Reeves having a lot of minutes tonight with the situation and LeBron James out. This might be a Trey Murphy, Austin Reeves parlay type of.
Firmly on the list, unfortunately, Austin, with that over 6 from 3-point range. Of course, he follows it up with 3 and 4 the next night. Bastard. In fewer minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, let's answer one question quick before we get out of here. Big Cheesy was asking about Kawhi Leonard. His PRA is 34.5.
Yeah, we have him at 34.2, so no model value there. I wonder if if there's anything in just on the non points. I know you can't read this so much, but we like his steals over 1.5, most likely. We like. Of the points, rebounds, and assists, there might be more value on just rebounds and assists in the model. So we have 24 points, and this line's 24.5 points. So the rebounds and assists line, we seem to have value on.
Mm-hmm. All right. At least we have something there. Here is the recap screen from today. Sorry to rush everyone out of here, but we got some live TV to take care of in a few minutes. So here are NBA props. The NHL prop. I feel it, John. This is going to be the one. We are hitting a plus money line here. Lots of college basketball props for Taco Tuesday on Prize Picks, Underdog, all of the things. Any more questions, please feel free to reach out to us on Twitter that we couldn't get to today. Good luck with your bets tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow.